Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here and checking out the series. Please do hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the interviews that we put out every single week. So new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I am excited once again to have Sammy Hagar here. He's back with a new record, Sammy Hagar on the Circle with Crazy Times. Hello, sir.
How you doing there, Kyle?
Doing great over here. It's great to see you again. Congratulations on the new album.
Thank you. You know, it's so crazy to making a record in this day and age. I came from the golden era, when you sold 3 and 4 or 5 million records and to come out and be top 5, the album came out on the charts at number 6 and went to number 5 the second week and only sold 27,000 records. In the old days, I'd have been thrown out of the record company. He got dropped from his label. He'll never make a record again. And to have, top 5 record, I'm just happy to be able to still make records because it's so important for any artist that can't, that just doesn't want to make records anymore or something. And I don't understand it. I love playing live, but you got to write new songs. You got to.
Yeah. Well, as greedy fans, we're always, very excited to get that. That's always the question, right? Because as soon as you get the new record, they're like, "Cool, when's the next one?" That's
yeah. Well, don't get in a hurry, folks. Listen, this one came easy, Kyle. It was so crazy. I think the whole COVID thing, not being able to do it. You couldn't even go into the studio. We all know, with your friends because you got to wear masks and social distance. And an engineer got sick. Oh no, cancel the session. So not being able to go on tour, not being able to make music, just sit around and do nothing. It was like a bow and arrow. I felt like an arrow just kept pulling back farther and farther. And man, when that thing went like that, I shot right through the whole creative thing. Just came so easy. It was so pent up. It couldn't get out of me fast enough. So it was an easy record to make. Oddly enough, it's as great as it is for me. I think it's the best record I made, maybe solo record ever. It was easy to make with a producer like Dave Cobb and a band like The Circle. Everybody was so good. It was just boom, 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 boom. But to say, can you make another one that good like next year? I don't know. I'd rather not have that challenge.
It is great, and it is interesting that you're working with Dave Cobb. I'm such a fan of what Dave's done over the years, all the artists he's worked with, and he is an adventurous producer as well. I mean, he'll work with a lot of different type of artists. But, is sort of known for rootsy projects, just to generalize it in those terms. And this isn't a rootsy record. There are those moments, those personal acoustic moments, but it's such a powerful record. What was the compromise on that? I mean, I've heard the stories about you thinking this was going to be maybe a laid back sort of Americana thing and him pushing you the other way. But what did you want from this record?
Well, I wanted to make an Americana record. I thought at this time in my life, the type of lyrics I like to sing about, the things I like to listen to, and the sound of my voice now. I don't have that really high screaming Janis Joplin screech as much. I don't like singing like that as much. I like singing with more my natural range. And so I thought, that kind of music and the songs I was writing, Father Time, and I just written that song with Tambo called Be Still, which I think is just a wonderful song. And Childhood's End, even, my little Pink Floyd, kind of my Stairway to Heaven on this record. I was just writing those kinds of songs. And I thought I wanted to make that record. And Cobb said, no, we're going to make the definitive Sammy Hagar record. I want to hear Montrose Out of You. I want to hear Standing Hampton, VOA 3-lock box at Geffen era. And I want to hear Van Halen. He goes, I want to hear you and Mikey. I want to hear those vocals. And I want to hear, that power. And when he said, when he put on it, it was what he did. Okay, Kyle. He took my guitar. I showed him all my songs. I'd sent them to him on tape anyway, just little acoustic demos and stuff. He knew my songs. So I sat down with him with 2 guitars and we were going over, some of the songs and he starts playing them a different way. He said, so wait. I hear it like this. And he starts playing, like a little Sabbath on Childhood's End. I'm going, whoa, man, that's cool. Yeah. And so he got me that way. That's how he got me to change, because he brought something. He didn't just say, nah, try something. Let's try this, try that. He went, what about this? And I went, yep. And so I just didn't play guitar on the record. and I let him play guitar with my band, and they were a great 4-piece band, and I just sang on every track live, and I had to re-sing a couple songs, but very few, and it basically that's how he got it out of me.
Yeah.
He just went in there with my band, and of course they're like saying, "You want to rock? Let's rock." You know what I mean? So
that's got to take balls, by the way, on his part to say, I want you to be Montrose. I want you to be Van Halen. To even bring those things up, like I feel like that takes a bit of guts to tell Jason, like, I want some Zeppelin out of you. Like, it's does that ever get in the way? Like, is there, I don't know what I'm asking here. Is there a little bit of ego that has to be set aside because these are the hallmarks, and when you have an artist that says, yeah, but I want to push forward, what happens when the guy says that, when somebody says, we're going to push forward, but I still want you to be that other thing that you're known for?
well, the way Cobb did it, he's the master. He brings it out of you through inspiration. He don't tell you what to do. He don't tell you, no, we're not doing what you want to do. Here's what we're going to do. It's none of that kind of stuff. So no ego ever came into play because he didn't lay an ego trip on you. Like, hey, I'm the boss. It's my studio. That never happened. And to try to get Jason to play like his dad isn't hard. First of all, he plays just like his dad.
Right.
And that's the whole thing that Cobb saw was our raw talents, where we're coming from, our influences, and what brought us to where we are today. He wanted to make sure he got all that in there, and not like it's like, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? That's a classic way to put it. It's like, just because I wanted to move on doesn't mean I don't take with me my tools. I got to bring my tools. So he saw that. So he got the best out of everything we are. He got the best out of us. And that's why he's a great producer. When he says to me, go in there and sing, I wrote these brand new lyrics for the actual first real song on the album is Slow Drain. And it was the last song we wrote. So I had to go home. We wrote it in the studio. I had to go back to my house that night and write lyrics and come back to the studio the next day. I come back in and he's going, give it to me, man. And I said, okay. I just started screaming and singing this song very high. It was in a very high range. I didn't realize it was in such a high range. And I'm going, whoa, this is tough. And he's going, now give me another one. I say, the whole song? I say, yeah, give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. He kept saying, he goes, come on, man. Give me another one. And I say, why? He said, we got a great one. Are you kidding me? I can use any one of those, right? He goes, I said, Dave, I'm blowing my voice out. He's going, so what? This is the last song. Let's go. Come on, give me one more. Come on, it's so great. Wait till you hear that. Oh man, he's like, then he starts encouraging you, right? Yeah. And I just gave it up till I couldn't sing anymore. I had to scream the high notes instead of singing them. Normally I'd want to sing the high note, but I had to scream them. And he goes, come in and listen to this. And guess what? It was the last take. It was the one I didn't want to do. So that's a brilliant producer to get you to do something you thought, nah, it's not unnecessary. He said, don't care then. If it's unnecessary, don't worry about it then. Just go crazy, go off key, sing it different, and you know what I mean? He's really good.
Yeah. The man's proved his stripes over and over. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those moments are obvious too. As a fan, as a listener, you hear it. It's so much fun to dig into it, to get into, how it became a concept album, to get into, those little moments in there. And I should even say the whole packaging. I mean, even from the album cover, this thing is fun. Just looking at that and poring over it. This might not be the era of album covers in the way we both grown up on in different eras, but that was like I'm still from the era, like I poured over the liner notes and everything as I'm listening to the record. But you guys still did that out. I mean, looking at the front cover and all of the stuff in the background, how did you want that to tie into the whole concept in itself? Because it does play in with the songs too.
Well, when it became a concept record, as it built, I realized it was a concept record. I was writing about things that I had gone through during the lockdown, and it's a little bit dark, it's coming out the other side of 2021, 2022 was like, woo, am I the same guy? Do I still believe in everything the same? No, I'm not. I've changed. I even became a little bit negative, like in the song Crazy Times, about that half full glass is empty now. It's upside down. It's empty now. And I kind of the way I was feeling there for a while, like, wow, are we going to get back on our feet? I'm not sure. I'm an optimist, you're right. That half full glass, But then all of a sudden you're going, I don't know. I really don't have faith in the world and mankind and this country and everything else to really get back to where we were. I don't think we're going to. So I wrote a lot about that. So, well, when you're doing that kind of stuff, then you got to, if it's going to be a concept, it's got to go all the way down. It's got to be the Frank Lloyd Wright theory. You know, he's got to use the right screws so that they match the screws in that lamp up there, and that the flooring has the same X's going across it around the windows out there. So Todd Galapo, the greatest, he does all my stuff, all my tequila bottles, my rum bottles, my canned cocktails, my other album covers. He just listened to the music over and over and over again, and he kept tweaking that. He had the front cover, but it was all normal. It was a normal cutaway from New York, you know, the streets of downtown New York. And then he, little by little, he'd say, oh, now the cop is Vic Johnson. Oh, now the homeless guy with the sign up is me. The bicycle's got my little dog in the back of it, you know, whatever. He just started changing the names of the streets, and he just tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it until he kept showing it to me. And I'm going, oh, that's the greatest record I've ever seen in my life. He's going, no, it ain't done yet. I said, yes, it is. I was like, he was David Cobb in me, man. I was thinking it was all done. And he was saying, no, it ain't done yet. So I think when you're going to make a record with a statement like this, with the beginning of the end through childhood's end, all points in between, you have to go all the way. So I spent a lot of time and money of my own money on this record and on that album cover and the inside of the album cover and the videos we made to make it a statement that you'll get it. If you sit and get a magnifying glass, crank that stuff up, make yourself a nice margarita or something you drink some of my booze, not because I'm trying to sell it to you, but because then you're going to get the whole experience. Now you're going to be drinking my booze, listening to my music, and looking at the concept and with a magnifying glass. And when that record's done, you're going to go, woo, yeah, I get it. This is, you know, Sammy did a good job. He rolled up his sleeves and went to work for a change instead of being so damn lazy and said, walking in the studio and playing a song, go, that's good enough. Next song, you know, I want to get out on tour.
It is
style, basically.
Right. Well, it is evident on here. I mean, again, it is a full experience, and I've loved every second of it. And you do get the concept. I mean, there are the obvious times, as you mentioned, Father Time. I mean, you have this taking stock, this looking back kind of thing. And you know, I was kind of, if at all, you know, coming off of the Lockdown Sessions covers record, because here you have this idea that you're crafting, but having, I don't know, played so many of, you know, of these songs that you like, these cover versions, do you find that there are those moments where they meet in the middle, whether it's influences or just, you know, references or something like that?
Well, you know, the Lockdown Session is one of my favorite records ever because it's like the Bowie pinup. When Bowie made that record, Pinups, I don't know if you remember that. It
I've
was
got it
all
right
covers.
right over here. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's one of my favorite records because Bowie was such a creative, unique artist. And for him to show you what he likes, you know, like, well, this is what I would listen to. This is the kind of songs I used to, yeah, it was just really an insight. And so the Lockdown Sessions to me, because of that, it showed what this band is, what we're made up of. Those are the songs we covered. Those are the songs we grew up on and all liked, you know, together, because that was a very concept record of the whole band. It wasn't just my idea. Everyone, Jason picked a song, Mikey picked a song, Vicky picked a song, then I pick a song, we go round and round. So you bringing that into this record, the fact that we got that off our chests in a funny way. Everybody needs to make their cover record just to get it off your chest, so you stop doing cover songs on your record, and then you can go write your own versions of your favorite kind of songs. If you listen to the song "Get What You Pay For" on this album, it's like The Who Won't Be Fooled Again. Like, you know, it's very much like that song. You know, that's it. He's playing. Jason's playing more like Keith Moon than his dad on that one, and I'm channeling Daltrey on that one. I'm sorry to say, folks, but you get what you pay for. You know, it's like, you know, very very Daltrey-ish, and so yeah, I think that that really set up this record really well. Otherwise, we might have had a couple more covers. Pump It Up was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be on the album. We were just warming up and jamming that song, and Cobb loved it. He came out and started jamming it with us, and then said, let's do the bridge right here. Let's go bang, bam, bam, like AC/DC, bam, bam. And we're going, yeah, this is cool. And so we put it on the record, but it wasn't supposed to be on the record. It was just something we were warming up to in the studio.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Do you ever reach out to the artist? Like if you talk to Elvis about this one, do you know if has he heard it?
I've begged my publicist to send it to his people, and I'm sure it got done, and I never got a response. I want him to. I want to comment, Elvis. Come on, I'm reaching out. Elvis, listen, Sammy here. All right, I covered your song. I love the song. I love you as an artist. We know each other. We've met a few times. And what do you think? Huh? Did I fuck your song up, or are you happy? He's got to get paid. Come on, you're going to get paid. Don't worry about that. But I would love for him to even say, this sucks. I would love to hear him say, this stinks. Because Elvis he's got an edge on him. I mean, he's a punk, he came from that era. And so, but I would rather hear him say, wow, that's really great.
Well, let's remember that he borrowed that one a bit from Dylan on top of it. So he can't get too upset. It's.
Yeah. We all borrow. Come on, Kyle. Any artist that tells you they didn't borrow something, then they're lying.
Right. Well, and even from yourself, like, I don't know if it was intentional. When I heard Childhood's End, especially towards the end, and listen, I'm talking about two notes here, and that's almost unfair that I bring it up, but it recalls to me Human Being from the Twister soundtrack. The Shine On part, that comes up and down like that.
Oh, you know what? That was already picking on Knocking on Heaven's Door. that was I'd already stole that before. Yeah, because I stole it again from myself this time. But yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. When you are creating, a lot of times you hear things that are identical to what somebody else did, and you're unconscious of it because you think you're writing it yourself, and you think you're hearing it in your head. Especially at my age, I've got a lot up there, a lot of music, heard a lot of things. Yeah, that's I love that part. That's Mikey's background vocal. Knocking on heaven's door. Yeah.
Fun stuff to pull out live if you want to.
Bob. Sorry, Bob. Robert.
Everybody's going to steal from Bob. Everybody is going to steal from. The man's done too much. While I'm here in that little world with that Human Being, it's, I don't know, my era. I love it. One of my favorite songs. And I was thinking about it in the lore of your discography around that time, and hearing that they're making the sequel to Twister 2. And I thought, wasn't there the whole thing about, the song that did make the soundtrack? I think it was called Between Us Two. And like, wow. Twister 2 is coming around. You could resurrect that.
Well, that would have to go through the Van Halen camp because it's a little dysfunctional over there. There's never been a fearless leader. First of all, in the Van Halen camp, it's like Roth was for a while, I was for a while, then Eddie took over for a while, and then Alex came in, and then Eddie's gone, and now Wolfie's the fearless leader, I think. But whatever, there's a dysfunction, and but Between Us Two, I can't believe you told me that. Everyone keeps asking me, wow, if there's any old songs that never got released. And I always say, not really. There was a couple, but I didn't remember. 2 or 3. Between Us Two. That's a mid-tempo ballad. That's like a Be Still kind of a song for my new album. That's what I would call it. If somebody said, how was it? Well, it was more like a Be Still. It was kind of almost country, not country, but I don't know. It was kind of like Can't Stop Loving You. Not as up tempo.
Yeah. So you remember enough of it though.
You've heard it?
No, I was saying, so you remember enough of it though. Like this could be something totally you could resurrect.
Now I totally remember. I don't know if I can resurrect it or not, but we've got it. It's done. It's in the archives up there. They'll find it. They're looking through the archives right now to try and remaster some of the old stuff from my era, and they'll find it.
All right.
That's gonna be a treasure. That's gonna be like my lost cask rum, where I forgot. See, I forgot. Now people say, is this really a true story? This sounds like a gimmick. No, it's freaking true. I used to make my rum in Hawaii, and then about 3 years into it, it was just too expensive. But the cane was disappearing, and building condos and ripping up sugar cane. Anyway, long story short, I moved it to Puerto Rico. And when I did, the distillery up there is still there. but they only make vodka and a couple other things that Levesque Corporation makes. It was a little distiller bottling facility. So we filled up barrels the first year I made the rum, and we stuck them in the back. And they got a bunch of signatures on them because for those 3 years, I would tell fans, go up and visit Highly Mighty if you're in Maui. Go up and visit Highly Mighty and see my distillery. And the distiller asked everyone to sign the cast, a little message to me. Hey, Sammy Red Rocker, we love you. You know, so it's got, but they stuck them way in the back because I stopped making them there. What are we going to do? They just got them out of the way, you might say. And I forgot. And they called it like about a year ago and said to my CEO for Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktail Company, Brian Hodis, they said, hey, we've got these barrels. What do you want to do with them? And he told me, he said, what barrels? He goes, you know, and I'm going, oh my God. It was just like, oh man, just between us two. Yeah. That's the same thing. I forgot about that song. What did you? So anyway, those barrels are coming out, but that's all I do. I ain't trying to hype those things because there's only 500 bottles and they go on sale on the 14th online and they'll be gone. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Count to 500, they're gone. Yeah. So
I'd love to say that I would love to taste it, but there's no chance.
Well, Sid, I'll have a couple of bottles here. You come on over and I'll give you a little taste.
I'll come on over.
Or if I come on your show, if I physically come on your show, there you go.
Right. Well, I know we're running short on a little bit of time here, but a bit more on this record because you get the original album and then you get the bonus tracks. And I'm always such a fan of B-sides and bonus tracks. And 2120 comes in right here at the end. And what a cool song this is, by the way. What's the story on this one? Because that's one of the ones I haven't heard about yet. Why didn't you feel like this was included in the original set?
You know, that's a really good question because I finished that demo, you hearing it. All the other songs were sent to him like the Father Time version, the acoustic version of Father Time. That's the way he heard Father Time. That's the way he even heard a song like Get What You Pay For, which is a rocker, but I sent it to him with one guitar and me singing it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way I sent him the music. But that one, I did the whole demo. Vic and I played all the instruments, did all the vocals, and we got this drummer guy, Elton John's old drummer, not Nigel Olsen, but some other guy used to play, Brad, maybe his name. I forget his name. My engineer said, "Oh, I'll just send it to him. He'll do it in 5 minutes. He'll just read the music right down and do one take, and we'll have it." I said, "Okay, cool," because it was such a complex. It's kind of a, you know, kind of a sophisticated prog kind of song. You know what I mean, musically. So I said, it's hard to play that riff without drums on there. So blah blah blah. That song is so good that I think Cobb was saying, "Man, you already finished that song. I can't make that song any better." I really think you felt that because he kept putting it off. I said, "What about?" He goes, "I love that song." You know, I'd say, "Okay," but then he said, "But let's do Father Time." Okay, we'll do Father Time today. Okay, and then it'd be like, "What about 2120?" "Oh man, I love that song," but we never got around to doing it. Pretty soon we had 10 songs and we got an album. And when they asked for special tracks, I put it under. That song is about. Man, I love that song. It's about trying to change the past. I really don't like that movement in the world. Just because it happened, it happened. You know what I mean? It's like, forget about it. We're above that now. We've moved on. You know, the prejudice of the past, the prejudice things that happened. It's horrible, you know, what happened in this country, in every country, and places still happening. But if you're beyond it, you don't have to destroy it. I think history is really important. So that's what I'm trying to say in that song. We can change the world, but we're never going to change the past. Stop it. Let's change the world. Keep changing the world. Keep changing. Keep getting better, better, better. Elevate our consciousness. So that's what that song's about. It's really important. It goes right on this record. Mm-hmm. It's stone concept right in the middle of this record. And I'm so glad it made the extra track. That's a song that I will perform live. It's that kind of a song. It's badass. I love the song. Yeah. And I can't imagine with Jason and Mikey playing on, it's only going to be better.
Yeah. It ends up being one of my favorite moments, regardless of, you know, how it's on there and everything. And I agree with you. It's a really cool track. Has a great sound to it.
It's in pocket. I did that in my studio. We did it ourselves, man. It's like the pocket in that song is like, it's just contagious. You're just going, you know, Just it's like AC/DC or something, just like relentless. But anyway, yeah, I love that song. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that up too.
Yeah,
Man,
anytime. No, congratulations on it, man. And like I said, it's just great hearing you kind of take this whole idea of the looking back and the looking forward and the way it all works. And I know, by the way, happy belated birthday. It comes around the 75th birthday that you just had, which looked like a really great time out there. And all the milestones coming up. I mean, 50th of Montrose next year. I was looking at it. The 40th of Three Lock Box, which you brought up, happened this year, and the 25th of Marching to Mars. Which, okay, one last question. I'm going to sneak this one in. Marching to Mars. You had Slash and Bootsy on that record. What was it like working with them on that one?
well, I didn't work with Slash. My engineer, who had done the Guns N' Roses record, he was working on the stuff in L.A. Mixing Little White Lie, and Slash was around, and so he just got him to put that not little part. He put two cool parts on Little White Lie, really cool parts. So I didn't get to work with Slash, but I played with Slash before. He's a great guy. He's a fun guy to jam with. He's a jammer, you know. There's guys that can just pick up a guitar and jam with people, and there's guys that can't. And he can, and I like that because I can sing with guys. I can just say, "What? I don't know the song, but don't worry, I'll sing something." You know what I mean? I'll just make something up and make it work. I love doing that. But Bootsy, what a trip! Bootsy, I'm a big James Brown freak, right? And the era with Bootsy is just the greatest, right? And so I wrote that song called, I think it was "Do It for Free" that he played on. He also played on another track that didn't get put on the album, but I called his people. I said, I want Bootsy on this "Do It for Free" because it's a funky tune. You know, it's made to be like a James Brown kind of thing. And Bootsy, I met him at the airport because he had to be paid when he got off the plane.
That's the James Brown school right there.
That's so old school.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful old school. I was so happy to do it. You don't even know. I was going, that's what I was hoping for. That would be James Brown, what James Brown would do. You got to meet him at the, you know, and pay him. And so I love the guy. He told a few really good stories, and just the way he looked, he had his hair all straight up in the air with a bandana wrapped around his hair, not his head. It was the weirdest hairdo I've ever seen in my life. It's something out of a cartoon. And he's a big, tall guy to begin with, so I made him about 7 foot. But man, when he started playing, woo, boom, boom, he was just so funky. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm in Louisville. He's right up the road in Cincinnati, and I'm such a big fan of all the new stuff that he puts out too. And he's got an ear for new talent.
Well, if you talk to him, tell him I said, hey, if you ever see him, tell him Sammy said, hey, never forget the March to Mars experience. Do it for free. He probably, like my Lost Cast, and probably like Between Us Two, the Van Halen track, he probably forgot about it. So remind me.
I will do that. I will do that. Sammy, it is always such a pleasure and a fun time to talk with you. Congratulations on Crazy Times. It's a great record. And man, thanks for taking the time to talk about it.
Thank you, Kyle. My pleasure, peace, and love. I love the fact that you love 2120. You just made my day. And the hidden Van Halen track, you hit me on 2 of them. That alone makes it perfect.
Perfect. All right, man. Take care. We'll see you around.
Adios. Let's see if I can get out of here. There we go.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.